the warm-up acts.
Yeah, make it quicker. Eh?
Tuesday, 1st of August, 12 noon UK. Cameras all rolling on the back. Thank you. We'll start with James. James Cole, go ahead.
Brendon, has this series proved that your approach to Test cricket, this attacking approach, has paid off, that it's the right approach?
Look, I think it is for us. We've got a certain style of play that we want to try and exhibit every time we go out there and play. Obviously, early in the series, Australia were good enough to stand up in their own way against us and be successful. I guess from our point of view, the most pleasing aspect is when we're under the most pressure, when we're 2-0 down, we stayed true to that and we were able to manufacture some results that allowed us to be able to walk away 2-2. So, I think for us that is our best chance of winning. The skipper and I firmly believe that, and I think some of the performances that we've seen from some guys right throughout the series is testament to that.
And as it's gone on, have you found the balance between entertaining and winning, do you think?
Look, you're always trying to win, right? You just don't want to be bogged down in key moments by the result. And I think what we're trying to do is allow ourselves to get in a space in your own minds where you allow your talent to come out. And if you're weighed down by fear of failure or by external noise, then all you're doing is suffocating that talent. So it's as simple as that. It's not, for us, entertainment is a big part of it, and the way we play is a big part of it, but for sure we want to win. Sometimes we'll get the balance wrong with the style that we do play, but I think you've got to have teams which are good enough to stand up and be able to make you pay when that time comes. And I think Australia did that in the first couple of Test matches, but I think we refined it slightly as the series wore on.
You said after Lords you weren't going to have a beer with the Australians. Have you changed your mind on that? You're going to crack one open? Or?
Yeah, we'll have a beer.
Rory, and then we'll go to Chris Stocks.
Brendon, obviously we know Brody's disappearing off into the sunset and Moeen the same again. You got one or two other players who are getting on a bit in years. Do you think that what you've achieved this summer particularly has sort of laid a template that now as those places get filled, it'll be people wanting to come and play in this style that you've laid out?
Yeah, you certainly hope so, right? And that's what you're trying to do, is inspire not just the next generation, but also the layer underneath the top team to be able to understand how we're going to play, work out in their own heads where they fit within that, and then try and force a place. So that's what you're trying to achieve. And naturally, places do come up when guys come to the end of their careers. So there will be some opportunities there. I think we're starting to build some nice depth in both batting and bowling as well. So that's encouraging, and will pose some good conversations moving forward too. Just to focus on Brody, I guess, and Mo for a second. They're two incredible cricketers, but also wonderful people and great characters in the dressing room, and we'll miss them, no doubt. But they have left a huge imprint on the side, and particularly in the last, I guess, a few weeks in Mo's case, and the last sort of year and a half in Brody's case. So, two great characters who we'll miss, and we wish them all the best in their next endeavours. But it's been great to have them around, and I'm sure their legacies will carry on to the next generation.
I just wonder as well, with the sort of gripping nature of this summer, you're obviously a Kiwi. This is in some way, not your battle, but how emotionally invested have you found yourself in that Three Lions badge and getting England over the line this week with all the different lads involved?
Yeah, look, obviously I'm very proud to be in the position that I'm in, to be able to have sort of any kind of involvement in a series like this, and to have any kind of influence over the group that we have. I'd sort of looked from afar at the series and sort of to now be a part of it and to witness how special it is something quite incredible. I don't want it to end, actually. I think we should go around again. We'll have another 5 tests and keep doing what we're doing. But it's been an incredible 6 weeks, and yeah, really proud to be sharing the dressing room with the England boys, but also sharing the series with the Aussie boys too, who have certainly, they walk away with the earn, and both teams walk away with 2 victories under their belt. But I think both sides have stayed true to their styles, and to me that's what makes, I said at the start, it's what makes a great heavyweight fight is two different styles and total conviction in those.
So One each going forward, Chris, Louis and then Lawrence.
Brendon, all great heavyweight boxers, love a rematch. Next Ashes is 2.5 years' time in Australia. Has this given you the hunger to carry on until then? And do you think this team, if they develop as you hope they do, can have a good shout of winning down under?
Yeah, it's obviously a little way away, and there's certainly different challenges to cross before then. I guess we look at the growth of the team in the last 14, 15 months, it's been quite significant. I mean, I guess you look back and you say, when the skipper took over and I managed to come in as well, would we be able to take on a great Australian team? They're a great Australian team, and go toe-to-toe with them. I think the answer is yes, and that's a tremendous confidence booster for the group, but also testament to the investment from all the guys who have really gone quids in with their belief in this side and the direction the skipper wants it to head. So, look, there will be some new faces, no doubt, in 2.5 years for both sides. But I would imagine that, it could be another cracking series when that time comes. But we've got many other things to focus on the next little while. Firstly, letting this one sink in and enjoying it.
Brendon, you said you would have a beer with the Aussie dressing room just before. Just kind of going right back to Lords, and a lot of strong things got said by you and Ben at the time. Do you feel any differently now than what you did then? And do you think less of Pat and those guys?
I definitely don't think less of Pat. I've had the pleasure of being able to coach Pat over in the IPO. He's an absolute champion fella. He's done an amazing job with the captaincy and with the Australian team, and I consider him one of my mates as well. So I think if we look back to after that Test match, I don't necessarily think what I said was maybe construed in the right way. What I was saying is I've made mistakes in the past, and there's times where you look back and you say, maybe when you're a little bit younger you don't quite understand some of those decisions you make, but I look back with regret on some of them, and I've put my hand up to say that, and I guess that's what I was challenging. But in the end, everyone's entitled to do what they want. There's no right or wrong in that, and that's the grey area around the spirit of cricket. I guess I know with the benefit of time what I would have done in that situation, but they're more than entitled to do what they want. So I guess Ashes series, they have all these twists and turns and moments which people they talk about, and what people are able to remember by, and that was certainly one of those, as was some of the spells that we saw from both sets of bowlers and some of the innings that we saw from both sets of batsmen.
Lawrence, Sonia, and then we'll finish with Dan.
Brendon, you said after Lords that 3-2 had a nice ring to it, I assume to England. Is any part of you still cursing the Manchester rain?
I wouldn't even know, will we? But, I think the way we played in that Test match was fantastic. I guess the thing from our point of view, when you go 2-0 down in a series and you've played some really good cricket, you know that there's going to be some challenges, and to be able the skipper to galvanise the group the way that he did, and to, if anything, go out stronger with the belief in how we wanted to play, as testament to his leadership. So, to come back from that and to square the series 2-2, both teams will be disappointed that they don't end up walking away with the scoreline, albeit Australia walk away with the earn. But, I think from our point of view, really proud that we stayed true to that under the fierceness of pressure.
Sonia, go ahead.
Brendon, it's rare at the moment that you get to go 6 months without more Test cricket, but obviously there is that gap. What does that mean to you guys sort of going forward, and how you spend those 6 months?
Everyone will do it differently. I know what I'll be doing, but a few of the guys are obviously going to be playing in white ball cricket, and there'll be some franchise cricket as well. Some guys will be playing county cricket. So there'll be different challenges for each member of the squad and the coaching staff over the next little while. And that's just the nature of now having split formats, I guess. For us, what will be really important when the time comes for India is that we are able to try and dial back into what we've achieved in the last 14, 15 months, and to try and make sure that the team turns up with the same clarity of thought when we go about things. And until then, I'm sure the boys will have a good time, and hopefully they'll score some runs and take some wickets, and we'll make some birdies.
Dan, last one.
Brendon, I just wanted to ask you one about Zach. and obviously how much you have been an advocate for him and the way he plays, and sort of play a little bit akin to the way that you once did. How much do you think him sticking to that and doing that consistently at the top of the order with Ben had an effect as the series went on in terms of a great Australian sort of bowling attack being put under a bit of pressure?
Yeah, look, I think both openers for us, Ben and Zach had fabulous series. I think their contrasting skills, which we've talked a lot about, I guess, leading into the series as well, is pretty evident, and certainly helps one another. Ben Duckett's turned into a really serious player at the top of the order for us, and we're sure, when you go away from home as well as game subcontinent conditions, you'd expect to really flourish too. But he's had a great series, and I guess just touching on Zach, he obviously coming into the series, he was under quite a bit of pressure, and the great thing was that he was able to block that out as much as possible. And again, you hope that's down to the environment that you're trying to create and what the skipper's trying to create and the consistency of messaging. And 480 runs as strike rate and 90 against the best bowling attacker in the world against the Duke's ball in an Ashes series, people don't do that, and that's, I guess, as the skipper said, you look at what people's upside is, what their best days are, what they're possible of achieving, rather than focusing on things which might not quite be there. And he's a case in point, and I think we've seen someone really grow and mature and develop and over the last 6 weeks or so, and I'm sure he'll be very proud of the series that he's had, and he won't get carried away because that's the type of personality he is. And it's just, I guess it's great, not just for Zach, but also for other guys around the side and around county cricket, that they know when they get the opportunity, they're going to get some support.